If you want to land that dream job, date the most incredible person you know, and blow past everyone else around you to be the most successful version of yourself, you have to be charismatic. And fortunately, charisma isn't something that you're born with like most people think. Instead, charisma is a skill we can develop with science-backed tools, and trust me, I would know. I wrote the book on it. So here are 7 science-backed ways to effortlessly level up your charisma, and they're all free. And stay till the very end, because step 7 is also going to show you to be the life of any party you walk into. Let's get right into it. Step 1 is to mirror the person you're talking to. So mirroring is an absolutely fascinating topic to talk about because it's been studied over and over again in science, in the military, in psychology, and it's proven. It's absolutely proven that when you're talking to someone and you have great rapport with them, or you're having a great conversation, or you feel just comfortable around them, we start to mimic their posture and actions subconsciously. We don't really realize we're doing this, but let's say you're talking to someone and you're having a great conversation, they might cross their arms. Then you will cross your arms without even realizing it, or they scratch their nose and you scratch your nose. They reach for a glass of water, you do the same. If you look at interviews, this happens all the time. What it's called, it's limbic synchrony, and it's something we can use to our advantage by consciously mimicking the other person if we want to get instant rapport with them. Like I said, this usually happens unconsciously, but by consciously initiating the process, let's say you're talking to someone and you want them to feel more comfortable around you. Let's say they're crossing their legs. You can also cross your legs. Let's say they use a lot of adjectives and verbs related to baseball. You can do the same. You can mimic them verbally. So by mimicking or mirroring certain actions or language or posture of what they're doing, it immediately sets that rapport and immediately makes that connection with them in a way that's so natural that they don't even realize it's happening. It's a really powerful trick, almost like a magic trick. Step 2 is to smile when you talk. In Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, this is his first chapter. And it's a book that was actually written almost 100 years ago, and it's crazy how it still holds up today. Like, that's how good of a book it is. But smiling is one of the most attractive qualities in another person. By someone smiling, it may be in our old crocodile brain. We immediately think they're not just attractive, but trustworthy, someone we can relate to, someone we want to talk to. They seem more open and receptive to being spoken to. So you'll notice often in celebrity conversations or interviews, they smile way too much. They smile to the point where imagine if you're talking to a person in real life, no one's smiling that much. But by exaggerating the smile and being laughter and positive, it's so infectious that the other people around you start smiling as well. This has been proven in research over and over again that they show 2 pictures of people, someone who's smiling and someone who's sulking and not, who's very upset. And over again, everyone picked the smiling person as more attractive, someone they believe they would listen to, someone they would even rush to in an emergency situation. The person is smiling. So when you speak to someone, just remember the nonverbal cue to smile. And when you're listening to them, or even when you're talking, just a small hint smile just goes a long way in trying to meet someone and make a great first impression. Step 3 is to encourage people to talk about themselves. It's a very famous saying that in order to be more interesting yourself, be interested in others. When you have people talk about themselves, it gives them an opportunity to open up, to be vulnerable, to make a connection with you that's on a deeper level. Plus, who doesn't like being the center of attention, right? When someone gets to share their story and talk about themselves, that's the #1 thing people love doing, talking about themselves. So, but being genuinely interested, that's the catch here, because people will use this trick and just make people open up on themselves and ask them stupid question like, what's your favorite candy, right? But by genuinely being interested in the person, knowing about what they are like, what are their likes and dislikes, we're going a level deeper beyond that. What are their fears and desires? It makes someone feel so close to you and automatically feel like you're an attractive, trustworthy person that they can open up to like that. But being a good listener goes such a long way in establishing rapport with someone and being comfortable around that person as well. By putting the spotlight on them, highlighting them, encouraging them, making them the center of the attention, making them feel like the cheerleader of this conversation, it's gonna go a long way in establishing yourself as a charismatic person. Step 4 goes hand in hand with step 3, and that is to showcase your feelings. Because if you think about it, emotions and feelings go a long way and play a critical role in how others perceive us. And this is something I sort of struggled with. I'm not really an extrovert. I'm neither an introvert either. I definitely like to go out and have fun with friends. So I'm somewhere in between. But one of the tricks I learned when I went down this charisma rabbit hole is step 3, which is putting the spotlight on others and making other people talk about themselves. So I was an excellent listener, excellent communicator from that aspect. But so I had to get people to open up and talk about their childhood and their feelings, and I had a great time meeting friends and making friends. But I noticed I had a lot of surface level friends, and that's because they never knew me. And the problem is friendship and relationships are a two-way street. And if you're not being vulnerable yourself, then the other person is going to feel no relationship to you. There's going to feel like you're going to feel like a therapist. Pretty much in a sense, that's what you're doing then, right? I had to make it an effort to be vulnerable. When someone was sharing a story with me, a trick I would use is share the same story back. For example, if the question I asked was, oh, what's a recent trip you went on? They'll say, I went to Hawaii, did this, did that. And usually I would say, oh, that's really cool. And then I ask them another question about a trip. Oh, you do jet skiing, right? That sounds really interesting. Tell me more about that. Instead, now what I do is, oh, Hawaii, that sounded really great. My recent trip I went on was in Ibiza. We went to Europe and this and that. So by asking the question that you asked them already, listen to their answer and then respond and answer the same question yourself. Even if they didn't ask it, it creates that vulnerability, that relationship, that two-way dialogue that you need in order to be more charismatic. And it does really go a long way in establishing a more deeper connection so you can go further with people so they feel really that strong rapport and that charisma that you're looking for. Step 5 is to be an optimist. There's a big thing in this whole charisma community where there's certain terms like negging or putting down people or shitting on them or using sarcastic humor. And that's a terrible way if you're trying to be very charismatic. Though that's a lot of maybe let's say advanced skills, 90% of charisma is just making sure the other person has fun and a good time. That's really all there is to it. And most people don't feel like they're having fun when you're shitting on them or making jokes on them or you're negging them. One of the things I had to learn too is to be positive, even though situations are easy to make fun of because I have a dry sense of humor. So for example, let's say someone walks in and they're wearing a pretty hideous outfit. And I used to say like a joke about their outfit, right? I would say like, oh, where'd you get that from? Like Target or Baby Gap or whatever, right? Like I would make a joke. But instead, I had to reframe my mind to be positive, be like, yo, that's a really cool outfit. Where'd you get that from? It's almost the same question I was asking, but I was asking it in a positive way. And people want to be around someone who's positive, who's optimistic. And if you think about people in your life who have been charismatic, they never talk about negative things. They only highlight positive things about you or about themselves, or they make the situation more fun. You spill a drink, instead of, oh, Lucy, stop, you're so annoying, why'd you drop the drink? Oh, haha, that's so funny, like, oh, like, that's hilarious. Don't worry, I'll get you another drink. Don't worry about that. Like, it's just a spill, no one even cares about it. Like, you want to be around people who are fun, who are positive, who uplift others. Never put someone else down. And the second you notice you're doing that, maybe it's because of habit or it's because of nervousness that your immediate instincts to put someone down, reframe that to uplift others. Even when it's not your natural instinct to do so, find a way how you can positively encourage them, even when mistakes or problems happen. Take responsibility yourself and then make them a better situation by being more positive. Step 6 is to use concrete language while talking. If you see one of my previous videos, and I'll link it up here, it's 4 phrases that will make you sound low value. And we know from that video, if you watch it, that language has the power to do a lot of things. Make people fall in love with you, make people hate you, make people want to do anything you say. Language has power. And the one thing that can easily destroy your charisma is having people think you just don't mean anything, or you ramble, or you don't have any purpose to what you're saying. Oftentimes in conversations, we may just jump in to say something for the sake of saying it. And this is where I want to have you pause and think for a second. How can you make this situation more concrete, more specific, more in tune with what you actually are thinking? People want an authentic person. That's really what it comes down to. And authentic people speak their mind, they speak clearly, they know exactly what they want when they want it. And they aren't people who just say yes to everything. They're people who are persuasive for the right reasons. So be careful what you're saying. Words have power. If you don't like something, say you don't like something. If you like something, say you like something. If you're saying a story, don't just ramble on and on and on and let no one talk about their story. Use concrete language when talking, and that effectiveness will take you very far. Step 7, lastly, is pay attention to your body language. Body follows the mind. Most people will say the mind follows the body, but I like to say the opposite as well. For example, there's research and documents where if you stand in a Superman pose or a power pose, your mind automatically starts feeling more confident and able to take on hard and challenging activities. So your body plays a big role in how your mind perceives itself. So your posture, think about it. If you're sulking all day like this and you don't look confident, you're gonna stop feeling confident as well. Versus if you stand tall and you have a presence about yourself and you care about the way your body is representing you, you're gonna start automatically thinking that as well. Here's an example I love to show people, and it's a very simple body language trick that often many of us do, which is crossing your arms. When you cross your arms, you're immediately signaling to the whole world that don't come and talk to me. I'm not in a good mood, or I don't want anyone to talk to me. But for some reason, we cross our arms all the time. And the reason we do that is because we're usually, you might not realize this, but subconsciously notice next time, it's because you're nervous or you feel threatened, because by crossing your arms, you're covering your vulnerable area, which is your stomach or your chest or your heart, which is, once again, a caveman aspect, but what we used to do thousands of years ago. So it's a system we've come to evolve and get into by crossing our arms. But these days we do it when we're bored. And it's such a shitty way to start a conversation because it looks like you're not interested. And you'll find yourself, let's say you go to a party and there's a lot of people there, you don't know anyone, you find a chair, you sit down. If you start sitting like this, you're also gonna start thinking to yourself, oh, actually the music kind of sucks. These people sucks, this drink sucks. I don't even wanna be here anymore, because you have made your body into a thing that sucks, because you've convinced yourself that this is the position that you don't like being in. And since you're sitting in that position in the first place, your mind starts thinking that way automatically. And when you're sitting like this, no one wants to approach you. You don't look happy, you're not smiling, you're not being positive, you're not being talkative, because you're sitting like this. Now let's flip it on the other side. And the second you catch yourself doing this, open your arms up instead. Stand tall, smile, walk around, you know, take pride in your appearance. Like when you start looking the part and being open chest, people automatically gravitate towards you. They want to talk to you. You will never see in a talk show a celebrity sitting like this. The more you cover the body, the more space. Instead, you'll feel them taking up more space. They'll be standing like this. If there's a chair, they'll put their hand like this. When they're talking to someone, they'll talk like this. So use body language as a way to trick your mind, but also just be conscious of how you're presenting yourself to others, because the body follows the mind, and the way you can trick yourself all to be charismatic is by looking charismatic physically to make yourself charismatic mentally. It's a super powerful trick, and the second I learned that, I stopped crossing my arms immediately and never do that again. Notice how often you do it. You'll see how it's probably influencing the way you think about certain situations too. It's a crazy concept. So those are the 7 simple steps, and I want you to actually implement one of them today. There's no point in watching this video and taking notes or doing whatever and then not even trying one of those things. So let me know in the comments below, what is one step you're going to take actionable and put it into your life and execute today itself? Because being charismatic gives you an aura around you. Charismatic people light up the room when they walk into it. It makes people feel better about themselves. You being the most charismatic version of yourself is service to the world, because you're helping other people also have a better positive day or feel like they're being listened to. And all the things you heard and we talked about today was more or less making the other person feel more comfortable or happy or open and receptive to learning about them. So find these small pockets in your day where you can practice being charismatic. Some of the tips are so easy that they're gonna help you in other areas of your life, because being charismatic not only helps in conversations, it helps with negotiations, it helps with jobs, it helps with obviously dates and conversations and relationships. But being charismatic helps in many areas of your life that you may not even realize it. If you got any value from this video at all, it would mean the world to me if you could hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. It really helps the YouTube algorithm, hit the notifications bell, because it lets me know that you're saying, Sid, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the hard work and effort you're putting into these videos, and we're definitely getting value from it, because it makes me feel good, A, but B, it also makes me feel motivated to keep putting out videos like this, because my goal is to help in service to you guys to be the best versions of yourselves. So thank you so much. If you're new here, my name is Sid Chawla. I drop videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you want to know where to start with this whole charisma, productivity, all this type of thing, check out one of my videos here, where it's the 4 phrases that make you sound low value. I think it's an excellent video with a lot of actionable tips. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.